Good Monday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that likes to talk about all my dogs and cars and trucks and SUVs, the attitudes, the kid, the life. Yeah, right. So there, thanks for tuning in on this beautiful Monday morning up here in the Virginia, Maryland, DC area. Just a beautiful, beautiful October 2nd, is it? Wow, we're already into October. Wow, uh-oh, people are walking their dogs. This is going to get interesting. Come on, pups, let's go. Looky here. So, anyways, wow, what's just a beautiful Monday morning, and another week past us, and the adventures. Come on, let's go. This way. Come here, Will. Come here, Will. You're going to see the people walking, then it gets into the barking and chasing across the neighborhood. Never even gotten to cut the grass. The grass needs to be cut so bad. I'm so sick of cutting grass. I mean, it never stopped up in this area. Never. Incredible. Here's the Bronco. Here's the Jeep. How do you shut down the grass? Nope. You get over here. How do you shut down things that you don't want to do, what you don't want it to do no more? Kind of like the federal government. Did anybody actually believe that the government was shut down? Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. It can get deep and heavy in that conversation. Hey, here's the Mopars. Got my Indian hat on, because I thought the Challengers. I have 3 Challengers in my life. Indian Challenger, a Dodge Challenger, and then buried up in the other section up there, I got the Smoke Show wide body Scat Pack Challenger, and of course I got the Dodge Charger. Hey, we had a great day yesterday with Chris. Going to the car show. I'm sure many that watch my channel probably saw all that. And wow, what just a great weekend overall. Had a lot of fun. Tried to take a time out and working all the time to a degree. But here's the Indian Challenger. Last night I took the battery out. Interesting how the Indian Challenger has the battery up front here lower. I guess it's the room issue. Is it a weight issue, a better balance? I mean, think about it. The battery's down there at the bottom. That kind of helps keep weight on the bottom, I guess, versus being up here. And here it is. So does Polaris warrant a little over a year old battery? They should. You have to argue with them. So, yeah, here's all the fun. My friend Chris drove the Gold Rush yesterday. I drove the Charger. And these cars are just so much fun. It's just incredible to think that Dodge is shutting down. Dodge is shutting down the production. Yeah, you heard the word shut down. The theme this morning will be shutdown conversations. And the first thing we can talk about is how Dodge is shutting down the production of this incredibly sought-after vehicles, the Hellcat products, to the point that people go and steal them all the time, to the point that people want these cars, and they've gotten very expensive over the last few years. It's such a sought-after vehicle. So I better get the dogs in the office because I think somebody else is going to show up out here in the barn, and then it's just going to get to be crazy. And so, yeah. So for the Dodge product, it just really is hard to believe that they're going to end the production of this car at the Brambleton, I guess, Canada plant, and it's going to be December, and it's no longer going to be available. Yet this is still a really good looking vehicle, and people still love the vehicle. But Dodge is on the page of going to the electric vehicle, which in turn means it's implying they're going to shut down the Ice Age, which for anybody here that wants to, here's my Ice Age TV, internal combustion age engine, I should say internal combustion engine age. And here's the sticker. That's how I put them on my cars. And it kind of, I like the sticker because it doesn't get too obnoxious, maybe, in my own opinion. Kind of blends in. So if anybody wants one, just email me at iceagetvcomments@gmail.com. But so, in so many aspects, this here is Dodge truly the first major company that's making a statement by totally shutting down the high-performance ICE side of their business. And it's just so confusing because the Carlos Tavares is borderline preaching on how this electric transition is not a great idea. I mean, borderline. The CEO of Stellantis Automotive Group, which AKA is Dodge, Ram, Jeep, Ferrari, Maserati, Chrysler, Fiat, Peugeot. So he for the most part is starting to really, take a position of this isn't the greatest idea to do this quick transition to electric vehicles. But yet he's the first major domestic company to take the first leap forward and to stop making high performance V8 motors. Wow. I mean, so he's going to shut down the production of Dodge's most popular sought after product. I just think Dodge is done. I think sincerely, people argue the Dodge Daytona Charger electric vehicle. If it's anything of the enthusiasm like this Ford Mustang Mach-E that's hidden behind the Ford Lightning truck, it's going to be a failure. Because right now, in so many ways, that Mach-E back here, I'm sure people know what it is and watch my channel, but the vehicle is at like 94 days supply. Yes, the Ford Mustang Mach-E now is showing like 94 days of inventory for the sale of the all-new electric Mustang called the Mustang Mach-E, which is hidden behind my vehicle and never gets driven. That car just sits. And I made a huge mistake by buying that in so many ways because it's just too much money for the vehicle and doesn't have the value. That vehicle in many ways is worth 20 grand plus less just over a little over a year ago. And then the Ford Lightning, I think they're shutting down in some ways production of these vehicles or slowing it down. But here's the smoke show. So anybody who wants a nice Dodge, affordable, fun performance vehicle, it's over. And these have become so expensive. These things now it's incredible. This car brand new is now like $67,000. Close to $70,000. That's more than my Hellcat was back in 2016. My Hellcat was like 62 grand, 64 grand. So just incredible. And in some ways, I think the consumers are being shut down to be able to buy these things in so many ways. So yeah, the word shutdown I think is so appropriate for what we're witnessing more than ever. And I think so many people on Thursday and Friday were all thinking that the conversation today would be how many federal employees would be going to work because they shut down the government. But they did not, as they continue to shovel our money to what I think some feel is just a ridiculous thing. How about that? How about the Indian Challenger here? What's interesting is I have so many different comments about these motorcycles. And I just like to talk about my toys. One person reached out to me yesterday that wanted to kind of argue that I'm very selfish. I said, yeah, well, mankind's selfish. Because a person didn't understand why I was showing off my Ford Bronco being the baddest ass ever production vehicle, the Bronco Raptor. And this person just has this attitude like, you're just selfish. Like, yeah, right. Yeah, mankind's selfish. But here's the thing. So here is the Harley Davidson. This now I think is the best time. I should really make a separate video for this, which I probably will. But I won't get into real heavy depth. But we look at this Harley Davidson motorcycle right here. I mean, if you look at this quality, look at the handlebars, look at this, the grips, okay? Look at the gas tank. Look at the foot controls. Look at the seat. And look at the rear passenger peg. So here's the thing. Indian has the Elite motorcycle, which for the record is 10 grand less. That's 10 grand less than that. That's basically 43. That's basically 33. This is a beautiful motorcycle. In so many ways, this is the better motorcycle. But in some aspects, there's just certain things that I feel like, wow, is the quality there? And where I kind of feel that Indian failed was this. I think, and I noticed that from day one when I first looked at Indian motorcycles so many years, reminding me of being a kid of the Polaris products. It's just cheap. It just is plastic. It's gaudy. This is supposed to, but yet when they go to the floorboards, and I put the heel shifter on, that didn't come with the bike. The floorboards give this thing the aesthetic, upscale look. Highway pegs, that's nothing big. The rear floor passenger seats, very nice. Chris, my friend, thinks that Indy made a big mistake not kind of carrying this theme all the way down here to make it a little short and stubby. Does just kind of feel a little cheesy in some ways. I mean, it looks good, but it kind of looks in some ways cheesy. So on the controls here, so many were saying that the Indian has backlit controls on this Elite, and I was like, it doesn't. But it was in Tennessee. I couldn't remember. This does not have backlit controls. But you know what? Just to eat my own words, once I put a battery in, I'll power it up. I can't power it up right now. The battery's freaking dead. Then we'll find out if I'm wrong or right. I don't believe this stuff lights up. And on the Harley, it does. So that's pretty cool. So I just think that the Harley on the handlebars now and the controls, I just feel like it has more of that quality. You know, the mirror looks really good. This mirror here, you know. So, but overall, don't get me wrong. This is a beautiful motorcycle. And does it ride better than that motorcycle? It does in some ways. But the Harley Davidson naturally aspirated V-twin motor, it's just this bike just radiates a whole different feeling over that motorcycle. It's just, all right, so we got to leave it at that. We'll do another whole video once we get this thing up and running again. I'm changing out the exhaust. There's a gentleman that watches my channel that wants that exhaust, and I think I may make a special video on that. It's just all about the time and everything else. But hey, the Indian Elite finally is out of the trailer, and the Indian Challenger, which is, I finally had time to get everything out of the trailer. These things sat in the trailer for a week. Believe it or not, just didn't have the time with everything going on in my life. So, all right, let's go ahead and shut down that conversation. And let's get here in the office and continue the shutdown conversations. Oh, geez, what's going on here? Can't get in my office? Isn't this nice? It's Monday morning. Get the day going. Get some coffee in me. A lot of talking, a lot of things. I had a very long video yesterday for all the car show activities. Come on, pups, come on. Get over. Move on away. Move on away. And geez, it's so nice and warm up here again. I'm back in my shorts and my sandals. And the dog here is destroying my office. The Kiefer dog. Let's get the show on the road, or we already at the show on the road. If anybody's watching my channel, I sure hope you watched yesterday's videos. So let's go into the car meet with all the Mopars. And not a lot of Mopars there, a lot of Corvettes. Yeah. Get the brain working. That's what it's all about, is get the brain working. And so, yeah, I think it's just really ironic that the word I came up with the last second with today's theme was shutdown. And I thought, how do I take that word definition, expand it into the automotive car theme, state of times theme, and here it is. I just really hit me in a brick in the head. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy to think that Dodge, the Mopar muscle, to me, the Dodge is the muscle car. It's an argument over the Ford Mustang and the Chevy Camaro. No, those are muscle cars. The Corvettes, well, yeah, they are, but at the same time, the Mopar is such a straight line drag car, heritage, such the circle track, heritage. It's not the back road. I'm not saying you can't drive them, but the Camaros, the Camaro, the Mustang, the Corvette, those are so much more the track, figure eight, whatever you want to call it, the back roading, more defined, better vehicle. Sports, it's borderline, it's a sports car, borderline. That Dodge Challenger is not a sports car. So we need to shut down calling the other cars muscle cars. But in the same way, I get it. They all had the high performance. So people are more fixated on the muscle, the power. But for Dodge, just beyond believable that for us, that Dodge didn't go. A lot of people speculated we'd do a hybrid. Why wouldn't Dodge? I mean, the biggest complaint of the Challenger and Charger is the all-wheel drive. And yes, you want to get a V6 GT all-wheel drive Challenger, that is available. The Charger, I'm not sure on that. I would think so, but I'm just not abreast on that or fixated on that. So for Dodge, it's just amazing that they're shutting down total Mopar muscle V8, the true beginnings of the Dodge, really, of the power days, power dollars, let's go on and on and on. And they wouldn't have gone to something of a hybrid setup to help for the emissions category to get a little better fuel mileage to meet the CAFE standards. Wow. When are we going to shut down? When do we start shutting down the green agenda? I mean, who's going to shut down? Elon Musk, in so many ways, in some aspects, it's a double-edged sword, though. Here's the guy that's making his fortune off of the green agenda. So on one hand, you look at Elon, who's fighting for the better of mankind, but he's enriched himself to the better for himself through all this so-called green agenda stuff that is I'm sure so many feel is so misled and misinformation. That's the challenge that everybody here who watches my channel, I think, can pretty much say we can't really come to closure of what Mother Nature Earth's going to do based on mankind's habits here and what we're doing. And then somebody will argue about how they know what the future is and how these ICE vehicles are the biggest problem to Mother Nature Earth of the climate change. And now people are showing videos of New York City being underwater. I'm saying it's an island. It's a city built around, it's an island. New York City's an island. It's inevitable of just the change of Mother Nature Earth is it maybe going to swallow up that island millions of years from now. Who knows? But no, it'll go back to no. And it's like, but was Mother Nature Earth, did it look the same way millions and millions of billions of years ago that it does today? My understanding, it didn't. But hey, I guess the dinosaurs created that, right? So so now here's the UAW. What are they trying to do? They're trying to shut down the big three if they don't play by their new rules. And to me, I just think it gets confusing. You think to yourself on how the big three is making supposedly the most money ever per se, but I think that's all changing as we speak. I truly think that the consumers are getting shut down. And here's the UAW. And what I mean by that is the amount of money you have to spend to buy a car now, the amount of money that it costs you to finance the car. I think that is starting to shut down a lot of people from buying these vehicles. I think that this UAW is clueless at what's going on behind the scenes as they're preaching they want more money. And don't get me wrong, great, give the UAW more money. But hey, you big executives, you're going to have to take pay cuts. Hey, you profit, your stockholders, you're going to have to reevaluate how you get your compensation. Lots of variables on so many different things that you can start targeting. Hey, suppliers, you overcharged to build the parts of the car. You got to give back to help pay for these union members. I don't know. There's so many variables on how you run a business and how you pay people and how you make money. You don't make money, you lose your ass. And they're saying right now, so here's UAW basically, wrap that up. There's still ongoing negotiations trying to figure out how they can make more money, but at the same time, here's the big three that I think, as the months prevail, you're going to be starting to hear the stories that the big three is in trouble because they've been shut down by the consumers not buying their products at the rapid pace they used to. I mean, I think it's just inevitable. I mean, there's always going to be car sales, but there's a fine line in these margins and blah blah blah. You know, it gets too deep and too complicated. But the point is, UAW is pounding their fists, wanting to shut down the manufacturing side to get their monies. And meanwhile, the consumers, I think, are shutting down the purchasing of buying vehicles because of such a high rate of what it costs to borrow money. And yesterday, I was thinking to myself, actually it was Saturday. Saturday, I was thinking to myself, because somebody, I've mentioned it before, some of my subscribers, they sometimes reach out like, man, it just doesn't make any sense how you buy all these cars all the time and then you trade them back in, you take these huge losses, and right, but that's been my life. But at the same time, it hasn't been like huge losses. And now a lot of people, which I get it, are, kind of like, well, you bought the cars at the high end, and now you want to get rid of them, and now you're stuck with them. And right, and to a degree, yes, that's correct. That the Ford Lightning F-150 I'm stuck with that thing. It just, I paid premium for it, and the Ford Mustang Mach-E, same thing. Other vehicles I've bought, I don't know, but there's some other vehicles that just aren't going to go away. But here's the thing. Even for me, I'm taking back. The last car that I purchased was the Ford Black Raptor, Black Bronco, on April 21st. So if I go through October, it'll be a 6-month run. The longest time now for me in at least 3 years. At least 3 years, if not 4 years, or maybe even longer, that I haven't bought a new car. Well, you'd say, well, okay, why is that? And but at the same time, I've been buying motorcycles. But here's the thing, I've had to shut it down because number one, the money factor has changed, and it's just incredible to think that the vehicles I bought back in this past winter, the January, February, March, April, the interest rates I got on those today are now incredible interest rates, which at that time I felt signing off on an 8%, 9% loan was crazy. Yes. I mean, I really did. I was like, even 10%. I was like, wow, this is getting to be expensive money. Oh my gosh, if I went back to the table and tried to do these deals all over again, I guarantee you we'd be talking 12, 14, 16, 18, maybe 19, 20%. So that is shut it down. But also, there isn't anything really that's driving me to want to part with something. Now, keep in mind, if I could get rid of the electric vehicles for something else that made sense, sure, but there's nothing there. I'm stuck on that. It's not the end of the world by any means. It's, though, the F-150 is a work truck, but for me, yeah, I've shut myself down, and in some ways, I've been shut down, and that's my point here, is I think a lot of people have been shut down on them wanting to get a new vehicle or even a nice used vehicle because of the variables that have played out. It's the interest rates are at the highest level, and I would have to say in the last 20 plus years, at least. I mean, I'd say 10, 12. And sure, there's incentives from the manufacturers to buy down rates. If you want to buy a brand new car, they're offering some 0%, 2.9, 3.9. Sure, the manufacturers that have in-house financing, like Ford, General Motors, whatever other companies out there that have the right to have the monies to buy down the rates and all, yeah, I mean, that's out there. But then you have to buy that specific vehicle and that specific manufacturer. And then you have to have a credit score at a certain level to be able to do that. So there's only so many people that are in that position to do that. Not everybody's. So then you take the masses, and then at the same time, okay, you buy a $60,000 car, you get 3.9% financing, and you're still going to have a $800, $1,000, well, between insurance and car payment and whatever else. You're going to be $1,000 a month. And I think a lot of people are like, I'm just not signing up for this right now because so many things are being shut down. So many things are just shutting down my capability to be able to afford things because everything's become so expensive. Everything. It's just incredible. And I was reading an article early this morning in the Wall Street Journal. It's I think to myself, do a lot of people watch my YouTube channel? I mean, people be like, what do you mean by that? What's going on is this Wall Street Journal article, and yeah, how factual is it? Who knows? But the article talks about how consumers today, especially the younger generation, they're not stopping spending. They don't care. I mean, there's so many articles of people like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to enjoy the fun time now. If it means depleting all my savings, running the risk of me maybe losing things, I don't care. I'm going to continue to live the way I want to live, and I'm going to go take the nice expensive vacation, or I'm going to buy the expensive things. And their attitude basically is, I don't care. I mean, this is factual. And so what that is doing, the underlying end result of that is it's not slowing down the economy. The Fed is so disgruntled on the fact that they continue to raise the interest rates, but the consumers aren't pulling back as much as they should be. And that's what this article is talking about, is there's so many people are like, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care if when they're old, they don't have any money. They want to live for today. Wow. So is that a whole nother variable of what's playing out more than ever in our country, is that maybe this younger generation is more of just risk takers more than ever before, and they never really have been down the road of hard knocks. I mean, sincerely, if you're a 25, 30, 35-year-old person right now, since you kind of got going in this world, in this country, you're now having to go back 15 plus years ago from the 2008-9 financial crisis. So the person that was 15 years old, they weren't in that world. The person that was 10 years old, they weren't in that world. So you sometimes have to just think to yourself, wow, these individuals that are making really good money to a degree, they just haven't gone through the hard knocks of life of witnessing everything shut down. I have. I've been through it a few times in my life. So I know what goes on with all this stuff. But here's it's very interesting. The government rewrote the bankruptcy rules. There's now a Chapter 5. Never even heard of this. I read about this in the Wall Street Journal this morning. There's now a Chapter 5. They call it Sub-Chapter 5 restructure of you owning a company that you don't have to per se go out of business. You can go for Sub 5 and basically snub all these creditors you owe and continue to stay in business in so many ways. There's a lot more to it than I know of, because I just read about this the first time. And what that article popped up is because they're seeing a rise in bankruptcies that are coming back pre-pandemic. And right now, we're at the highest level since pre-pandemic of bankruptcies for businesses, and we're not even done through the year. So this year, at the end of the year, at the rate it's going, will be the highest year yet since pre-pandemic. So prior to 2020, saying from 2020 now to 2023, 2023 is now starting to show a lot of businesses that are filing bankruptcy and a lot of businesses that are closing doors because of all the variables of what panned out from things being shut down. I mean, once again, there's just so many people, I think, that are clueless to this remote working at home shut down so much business. There's an article of this person out of Tennessee, Bright House Cleaning, that a guy had like 85 employees, and he used to take care of all these commercial buildings. Well, that's all dried up. The guy's sucking wind. The guy had to file a Chapter 5. He went from owing $1.2 million in debts. Now he owes $185,000 in debts. How do you do that? Wow, how do you do that? So, and he's still in business now. So he's wiped out all his debt. I didn't really pay much attention to this, but you have all these government-assisted big loans. Apparently, I know at the PPP loans, the payroll protection loans, they gave you some help during the pandemic, but I didn't realize that the government was handing out these $300,000, $100,000, huge loans to all these businesses at 30-year payback. 30-year payback on money being given to you to stay in business on a loan. Woo. And so there's articles about that people are going chapter 5, or people are literally just closing doors because they signed up for these $300,000 loans, which it's like an $1,800 a month payment, which to me that's nothing. And so these people are now raising their hand going, hey, back in the day, it was a trucking company. Actually, it was about a company, this family borrowed $335,000. At one time, they had like 50 trucks when the delivery business went through the roof. And that's all evaporated because of the higher fuel prices. The trucking industry has seen half the freight of the business disappear. And so they're struggling big time now, and they can't pay that debt. And so they're, maybe going to have to shutter the business or whatever it may be. But I never realized that the government was, I didn't realize that. I was just an eye-opener that so many businesses took these 30-year loans on borrowing like $100,000, $300,000. You'll never pay it back. Oh my gosh, I think you're going to be in business for 30 years? Most small businesses don't last that long. And the transition of in and out, wow. And what the pandemic did, the pandemic shut down so much stuff. It's beyond believable of what has. But here's the thing. Anybody that's out and about, you still see plenty of nice vehicles and nice homes. But here's the thing that I was seeing the other day is just for myself, as I was just speaking about, these higher interest rates have totally shut down my excitement to go buy something. Just like you're watching the videos of me buy the trike. Yeah, I've got some creative ideas on how to maybe get the trike, but I don't know. It's kind of getting too complicated. But for the moment, I'm just not excited about driving to a Harley dealership and trading in it doesn't even matter if I traded in a different motorcycle and then sign up for a 25%, 23% interest loan. I'm just not excited about that. And I just think that we are so close from things shutting down. And what I mean by that, what really starts to happen if people really do start shutting down their buying habits and the Harley dealers start seeing these motorcycles that they just can't sell. And the market really does start to change. Oh my gosh, if you're the person that signed up for that brand new Harley Davidson motorcycle and you put little to no money down on it, and you got a 25% interest rate, you're stuck beyond stuck. You'll never be able to get rid of that thing. It'll be called the guy that shows up at nighttime that takes it away from you. That's how that plays out. That's huge. That's because you've been shut down by the bank, that you don't make your payments anymore, and you don't have the right to own it anymore. So they shut you down. What do? Take it away. Is that a growing trend? You hear the stories. But I don't know. I live in this very lucrative, well-to-do, Loudoun County, Virginia, one of the richest counties of median income in the country. So it's very hard in this D.C. metro area to really see what's going on. But at the same time, I travel around different areas, and I just haven't seen the shutdown. And so, but at the same time, are things slowly starting to shut down? It takes time. When you have an economy that really starts to go south, it doesn't usually just show up overnight. It usually takes a good 6 months to maybe a year for things just to shut down. So federal government didn't shut down, but even though they're now in November of the arguing back and forth about where the money goes, Ukraine's getting all this money, where the border crossing is, when do they shut down the border? How do you shut down the border? Does anybody, here's the thing. I know over in Europe, other countries, they've got huge immigration problems just like we do here. How do you handle that? That gets so deep and heavy. So I'm going to shut it down at that. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I had a really good weekend, a lot of fun. Got to get back to the routine and shut down my talking for the day. So, what are the adventures next? Do I get the trike? It's just, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, do I make any sense? Yeah, I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I can see those conversations, right? Yeah. Yeah, hypocrite. Yeah. So, anyways, hey everybody, thanks for watching my channel. Appreciate all the nice comments and the support, and share the channel. And yeah, if you have any stories of something you've seen, like, hey, yeah, I mean, my area, I'm seeing businesses shut down, and I'm seeing friends of mine that just have shut down. Or maybe you're gonna be like, nope, all my friends are just spending every cent they have, and business is good, and people just feel like it'll never ever end. Yeah, wow. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. God bless. Stay safe. Have a great day, and stay tuned. I got to go to work.